How have I made a measurable difference in the lives of my students? That's a question you'd really have to ask my students directly. I can only tell you what I try to do, and that is to help my students understand that one of the greatest gifts music brings to people is the awareness that there can be no tolerance for mediocrity in our music, or any art for that matter. This truth goes beyond music. It is a life lesson, and therefore, we can't allow mediocrity to pervade in anything we do. I've worked with literally thousands of students in my career. Some are music majors, future teachers, composers, performers, industry careerists, and more. But a good number of students I encounter just love music and want to keep it in their lives. I would like to think that the measure of difference I made in their lives was that I wanted the best for all of them, and I expected the best from each of them. My demand was not for me personally, but rather my demand was that they treat the music they encountered respectfully and gave their full effort to achieve something greater than themselves. This is the lesson I hope I gave them, and I hope it allowed them to succeed in other aspects of their lives. One of my greatest joys is hearing from a student years after they have graduated and hearing how the lessons they gained from being in band had a profound influence on their lives. Some have shared with me that it literally saved them. I do not take credit for these things. The credit lies in the music and in our collective efforts. The impact that I have made on school and community is a little easier to discuss. Our marching band is the pride of the university. When I began in 1995 at Mansfield University, there were about 68 students who were in the band. We have grown to a high of 220 members over the year. In that time, we became known as the spirit and the pride of Pennsylvania, and we are called on by our university to be present at nearly all major institutional celebrations. We have performed for gubernatorial inaugurations, international festivals, community parades, regional marching band competitions, and even the World Summer Olympic Games in 2012. With our wind ensemble, brass band, basketball band, and chamber groups, we've helped to establish our music program as a premier program in the region, bringing distinction to our institution and our communities. As a partner with regional schools, we support communities with our presence in performances. We have developed a unique role with our small university, just about 3,000 students, as musical ambassadors, and we're proud to serve our community in this capacity. Once again, I'm not sure how I can answer your question about making a lasting contribution to the profession. This seems like something others need to evaluate, and not something even that I could comprehend as a 48-year-old with so many years of teaching left. I know that I want to leave something lasting to the profession. I hope that as a composer, I will leave behind music that might stand the test of time, but again, I can't say if my music will last. I can only write from my heart and hope the message is heard. I hope that as a conductor, I'll leave behind recordings of meaningful interpretations of some of the greatest literature that has been composed for the wind band, but I cannot be the judge of such success in my own lifetime. I can only work tirelessly to seek out great music and record it with wonderful young musicians. As an educator, I know I want to be an instrument of reform that will include the arts as an equal partner in the educational process, and to create an awakening that every child is unique and deserving of having their natural talents cultivated into strengths that they will use to make the world a better place. I know it sounds lofty, but that is the difference I would like to make, not so that my name would be elevated or even remembered, but because it's simply the right thing to do for this time. I work each day to maintain music education in our schools, quality music education. I write about the need for reform. I preach about the need for reform whenever I'm guest conducting or providing a clinic. I present at conferences to help my colleagues find the words to change their local circumstances to something more positive. I argue with administrators and school boards. I even argue with teachers who are underperforming. Most important, though, I work to inspire my students who are teachers and performers to make a difference, to demand excellence, to demand reform in the way schools conduct their business, to put an end to the conveyor belt mentality and one-size-fits-all teaching that pervades our schools today. And I advocate that whenever a school is failing to do the right thing with music education, that teachers must become entrepreneurial in their approach and build after-school programs to provide real music education to the young men and women in their communities.